Hello and welcome back to Fandom Fridays, where we proceed to check out all the fanfics that are not porn related. Why? Because I don't know if you noticed, but this whole entire bad fic that has been hitting me so far that we have been sitting through has been draining. I mean, really. I'll talk about this more in a review, but there's only so many times you can point out how something is stupid, especially when it's made by 10-year-olds so many times, before you just start running out of material to make fun of or jokes to come up with to make things funny and entertaining. And sometimes you're just getting bored of the whole entire thing because you just know what's going to happen next. Which is why I always look for a chance to do these things. Fandom Fridays. Mainly because it's a chance to make you guys, well, happy. And if there's anything I prefer doing over riffing a bad fic, it's making you guys happy. And you know what I think would make us all really, really happy right about now? Let's do a fanfic we haven't touched upon in ages! Yep, if you guys have been around here for a while since the beginning, hello, you old folks. Has it been that long? But for those of you who are not in the know, a few years ago back, we did a little Dragon Ball Z story called Bringer of Death. What's Bringer of Death, you might ask? Well, as we all know, in canon DBC, Goku went SSJ when Frieza killed Krillin. Bringer of Death asks a simple question. What would happen when, as Frieza's pounding the shit out of Vegeta looks up, gets pissed off, and unlocks it? The power of SSJ. And then, after all that, Vegeta gets up and proceeds to hunt Frieza a new one. Yes, this is not exactly Masako's what-ifs, and I am sorry, but I am not Masako. I'm Legendbreaker. Hi, how you doing? And unfortunately, I can't do a good Masako voice, so don't expect me to do something cool like Masako's what-ifs. Instead, we're going to look at something called Bringer of Death, as I'm pretty positive we left off at the part where after Frieza managed to kill Vegeta by being a no-good backstabber, King Kai and the others used the Dragon Balls to wish everybody that was killed by Frieza back to life, including Vegeta. And after Frieza handed Goku and Gohan their respective puny little Saiyan butts, Frieza had Goku on the ropes, was ready to kill him, and that's when Vegeta came in and proceeded to hand Frieza his ass again. And this time, Frieza killed him. But just before Frieza died, he told something to Vegeta. A deadly little secret. And that's where we leave off. So join us once you as we hear the Terryberry Memorial Library implying to go right back to the old ball chain of Dragon Ball Z with Bringer of Death by and Perry Hill. Please enjoy. Bringer of Death by N.P. Barry Hill. You know, I remember when we first read this, you didn't develop my personality to being the type of guy who makes fun of everybody's screen names. But, you know what? Now that you have, I'm going to now. What the hell is an NP Barry? I don't know. Just start out the trailer. Part 12. Reparation. Vegeta stared down at the severed head which rolled onto the ground a few feet before him. It was all that remained of the Triumph who ruled over him and spent over most of the known galaxy. The skin was twisted and burned, testifying to the pain that Vegeta's Gallic Flash had inflicted. His neck had been ripped from his body roughly, spine protruding from the torn tissue to continue to leak blood. The purple pool was seeping slowly into the dirt on the surface of the planet. Most striking of all was their cold, narrow eyes, so often filled with untempered rage and cruelty, were utterly lifeless. Yet the lifeless eyes still betrayed the smug sadism that defined Frieza to the very end. With his dying breath, he had stolen Vegeta's sense of victory. The prince was deep in thought, and despite Frieza's death, there was still great tension on the battlefield. The dark sky above was menacing and black, except for the horizon. It seemed to outwardly display the storm raging between the two Saiyans. At first it seemed that Vegeta was causing the vicious lightning as well as the canopy of shadows above, but the darkness began to slowly fade away, revealing the calm green skies of Namek once again. Goku watched silently from where he knelt beside the unconscious Gohan. The weather was the least of his concerns. He knew quite well what Frieza had just whispered to the Super Saiyan. This is what I was afraid of, Goku thought. I expect he's going to be pretty steamed at me for what happened, for not telling him the truth. I don't really blame him, though. It's my fault.
The old legends say that Super Saiyans are known for their unquenchable rage and thirst for battle.
Vegeta, back still turned to Goku, spoke coldly.
How foolish, then, is it to provoke the wrath of such a being? What were you thinking, Kakarot? Tell me the truth!
Vegeta ignited his energy, raising his voice to add emphasis to the golden flames that erupted around him. Goku was experiencing a unique moment in his life. He had been in rough situations before, tight spots that almost seemed hopeless, but he always found a way to survive, usually finding solutions right at the last possible second. This time it was different. His mind was racing, but he kept telling him to accept responsibility. It's the right thing to do. After all, it certainly would be rather to have Vegeta take his anger out on him than anyone else. It's true, Vegeta. I allowed Frieza to survive. I caused your Super Galactic Flash to detonate early. Goku spoke the words in a sober, apologetic tone, recognizing his actions cost Vegeta his life.
You did, Kakarot!
Vegeta yelled.
You interfered in the most important battle of my life, right at the most critical moment, causing my perfect victory to be ripped from my hands. You said it to me like you were admitting that after all I did to help you protect your son, you paid me back with betrayal? So did you? Did you, Kakarot?
Goku was silent for a moment. He knew Vegeta didn't want to hear an excuse, no matter how valid. He pondered what to say, knowing that his next choice of words might directly determine the length of his life. Vegeta, I'm sorry. It wasn't my place to interfere. I didn't trust you to control your attack, and I wanted to try to save the planet. I was wrong. Goku dropped his hands in submission, though the prince's back was still turned. Vegeta seemed to be considering the words Goku spoke as he stared off across the landscape. He was unmoving, fingers twitching with indecision about whether or not to turn around and obliterate his fellow Saiyan. Goku desperately wished that he would see what was going inside his Super Saiyan's head, but all he could do was trust and hope Vegeta would have shown the same mercy the Sea Fighters had shown him, time and time again. Seconds seemed like centuries as the tension grew. Finally, as if to break the silence, a small figure surrounded by white aura approached rapidly. Neither turned to see who, for their senses were fully engaged on each other. The small green boy landed, without a word, quickly placed his hands over Gohan, beginning to release his healing power. Within a few seconds, Gohan's eyes opened as fatigue and injuries covering his body were miraculously washed away. He sat up and smiled when he saw Dende.
Dende, you're alive!
Exclaimed the young Saiyan. Before he could speak again, he noticed the young Namek placing a finger to his lips. Gohan didn't know why until he saw his father and Vegeta both menacingly about.
What is Vegeta so angry about? He wondered. I must have missed a lot when I was out. I can't feel Frieza's energy at all, but I can feel the Namekians alive and everywhere.
As Gohan pondered the scenario, trying to fill in the gaps, his father interrupted his thoughts. Gohan, Goku spoke telepathy. As soon as Dende heals me, I want you to make sure both of you get as far away from possible. When he's safe, take my spaceship and go home. The young healer had been using his power to restore Goku's energy, while the wounded Saiyan communicated his instructions. If I survive, I'll find another way back. Now go!
Okay,
the timid voice of Gohan answered. The two boys, one from Earth and one from Namek, each ignited their white auras and took off. Heading back into the direction of Goku's ship. Gohan was scared. Hearing his father's thoughts sent a chill through him. Every other time he had been in a scary situation, Goku had always shown such hope and confidence. His dad was always the strongest, always able to handle anything that came his way. Yet what Goku had said, if I survive, seemed utterly without hope. Gohan wondered if he would ever see his dad again. Super Saiyan Vegeta turned, flying slowly towards Goku. The latter, now healed of the injuries inflicted by Frieza, felt whole again. Just as Dende's healing had increased Vegeta's strength, so it had given Goku a Silver Zenkai. See, if you people are going to complain to me about using Kakaroto, you gotta complain to this guy for using the word Zenkai! He was now at least twice as strong as Vegeta had been at the beginning of the battle with Frieza. But that had been before Vegeta's rage and despair had ignited the primal Super Saiyan strength of the race. If Vegeta could only remain in his base state, Goku knew he would be able to hold his own with ease. Yet the boost of energy granted by the Super Saiyan transformation seemed insurmountable. Would his Kaioken be enough to save his life? Goku knew he could boost his newly increased strength by 20 times, maybe more. At this point, he was confident he could have been able to match Frieza's fourth form, although his powered up to 100% form of the Icy Tyrant had been too much for him. As far as he could tell, Vegeta's increased base strength, after being revived by Shenron, hadn't translated into substantially more energy as a Super Saiyan. But Vegeta had been so much stronger than Frieza, even in the Tyrant's powered up form, that Goku despaired of being able to hold his own. He estimated that the Super Saiyan was half again as strong as his own maximum strength at 20 times Kaioken. Could he push King Kai's technique further? Vegeta spoke.
You will not deny me the satisfaction of regaining my honor. Your pathetic obsession with protecting this miserable planet cost me my life, and I will have yours in exchange.
Goku swallowed.
You have humiliated me for the last time, Kakarot!
Goku stood still, his head hung. You're right, Vegeta. It was my fault. You can kill me if you want. Just don't hurt anyone else.
Have you no thought of your Saiyan honor, Kakarot? I will kill you, I swear it! But it will be in combat, like true Saiyan warriors! Vegeta roared. I would think that even a low-class warrior like yourself would know this. You will fight me!
Ooh, some hands! Who wants to actually hear either Lenny Pator, Chris Sabat, Brian Drummond, or Real Horikawa actually saying these lines? And before you people ask, Real Horikawa can actually speak fluent English. This is awesome. Goku was conflicted. For the first time in his life, he had just faced an opponent with a genuine offense against him. He had felt he could understand Vegeta's desire for justice, fairness. For the first time, he didn't feel like his side was entirely justified. Yet his hunger to test his strength and fight, even to the death, still rose strong and clear inside him. Vegeta demanded a fight. He would give him a fight. Goku crouched, letting the energy flow through his body as he began to power up. His aura turned bright red as each wave of power was concentrated and amplified over and over again. He set his teeth as his muscles swelled to accommodate the energy building up inside him.
That's right, Kakarot!
Laughed the Super Saiyan Vegeta, who stood with his arms crossed as his own golden aura flowed around him.
Show me the full extent of your power! You won't stand a chance against a Super Saiyan!
Yeah! Goku screamed as he amplified his power beyond what he thought could possible. Kaioken times 25! Goku shot forward, bathed in a stream of blood-red light. The Super Saiyan was poised now, but he wasn't prepared for the speed of Goku's onslaught. Vegeta blocked the first three punches, but Goku's kick made it past his defenses, casting him in the ribs and sending him flying to the side in a golden streak. Goku followed, his Kaioken still blazing red, and landed a punch of Vegeta's chin that sent him plummeting to the ground. Vegeta picked himself up, wiping a streak of blood from his lip.
Is that all you've got, Kakarot? I was hoping for a good fight before I destroy you!
Goku flew in fast and low with a double kick, only to have Vegeta catch his leg and miss right. His momentum carried him forward, and he tumbled end over end before righting himself and landing on his feet. He turned to attack again, but Vegeta was already in motion, delivering a vicious double fist to his lower back that sent him sprawling. In his present state, so heightened by Kaioken, the blow did little to injure him, yet he was still shocked when he realized he hadn't been able to anticipate the attack. The Kaioken multiplied his strength, speed, and senses, but the Super Saiyan had moved too quickly for even Goku to follow. Goku was already on his feet again, delivering a furious series of blows that crashed like thunder against Vegeta's defenses. Yet now he knew he was fighting blind. Even if he could keep up with this level of Kaioken, he doubted that further training would be able to stabilize it. He wasn't able to sense Vegeta's movements. He had to remain in attack or ZOOM! Vegeta's fist caught Goku in the side of the head, sending him tumbling. The Super Saiyan was on the offensive now. Despite Goku's amplified speed and strength, he couldn't keep up. He felt a knee smash into the ribs before an elbow caught him under the chin, sending him crashing to the dirt.
Your power can't save you from my Super Saiyan wrath!
Screamed Vegeta as he released the fury of golden energy blast at Goku. The instant blasts weren't enough to pose a serious threat, but he used evading that was using up Goku's precious energy. The last two blows he received from Vegeta were incredibly powerful, strong enough to have crippled Frieza easily. He felt himself weakening. Gathering his remaining strength, Goku dashed forward through the hail of energy attacks. Though he knew Vegeta could sense his energy, he hoped the clouds of dust would obscure him for a moment. Holding both hands at his side, he started to charge his attack. Kamehameha! As the dust cleared, he saw Vegeta hovering above him. The golden light of his transformation overpowering the glare of the Namekian suns. To Goku's horror, the Super Saiyan was charging his own attack.
Now you will pay! roared Vegeta. Super Comic Flash! Ha!
Screamed Goku, releasing the bright blue energy wave. Emit Vegeta's golden beam a dozen yards above him, producing a shockwave that made the whole planet seem to shudder. Goku's beam, strengthened by the 25 Kaioken, began to push back Vegeta's attack. The Super Saiyan had been too confident in his strength, and held back just a little too much. Unlike the Kamehameha wave, Vegeta's attack couldn't be amplified after it had been released. Vegeta could do nothing to overcome Goku's beam. He felt himself losing control of his attack. Suddenly, Goku felt his strength ebb. The 25 Kaioken was too much. He couldn't sustain it any longer. Both Saiyans felt their energy beams fail simultaneously. They watched the golden and blue coalesce to a crackling ball of destructive energy between them. Goku's Kaioken continued to drain. He summoned the last of his remaining strength and blasted off, flying as slow and fast as he could. Vegeta followed the golden strength. This was the end, Goku was sure. That ball of energy was now slowly sinking behind him, as Frieza's supernova attack made it seem like a mere firecracker. Namek was going to blow it up. There was nothing he could do to stop it. Hey, Whis? Yes? Vegeta and Goku done effed up again! They did the other day. Yeah, they were doing a key struggle and were trying to fight each other off, and now the planet's about to go to shit. Oh, bother. And you want me to fix it? There's a Dairy Queen sundae for you. I suppose I'll do it. There we go. What would these people do without me? I don't know, Whis-sama. I just don't know, Lord Whis. So, your opinion. Ultra Instinct Vegeta? Oh, I would say. Whoop! Moments earlier. Piccolo, it's your turn now!
I'm on my way.
The Namekian grunted. I spoke with the Guru, and he just sent Dende to end Goku or Gohan with his healing power. Now, we need to make that wish as quickly as you can. King Kai hadn't worked this very hard in a long time. He had been communicating long distance, forming plans, coordinating all the efforts on all sides of good. It was exhausting, but it was hardly finished. Oh, wait a second. Wait. Stop the tick. What is it, Trix? Trixie was curious. We all know you prefer King Kai's Japanese voice over Sashimiel's stuffed-up nose King Kai's voice. So, why are you sticking with the basic dub King Kai when you could be doing King Kai in a more noble tone? Call it familiarity. Call it, it's what I think that the audience listening would expect. Call it that I think I could match Sashimiel's King Kai voice like this more than I can match
the Japanese voice for King Kai.
I feel like I could do more as Sashimiel's King Kai than anything else. And a lot of times, I think when these fanfic writers are writing these, they aren't speaking with the Funimation dub's voices, with the Japanese dub in their minds. A lot of people are writing these things with the American dub in mind. More specifically, either Funimation or Blue Ocean, depending on which dub they prefer. Kind of like how whenever I read this, I don't hear Matsuko Nazawa, I usually hear Matsuko X. But that's beside the point. And now, back to the fic. Piccolo hadn't been exactly sure where the dragon would reappear, but from Krellin's directions he had an excellent idea where to look. Luckily, Porunga was enormous, and the Namekian easily spied him. Failed in his white energy, Piccolo blasted full speed towards the dragon. The nearer he got, the larger the maker of dreams seemed to become.
Porunga!
He yelled. Piccolo was once again grateful he had integrated Nail into his being. With the addition of the massive power increase he received, he had also been granted an understanding of the protocol and password for making lists in the Namekian dragon. Ha! Correction! Piccolo would only need to know Nails' password. He doesn't need to know the Namekian language because he and Kami-sama were speaking Namekian during the 23rd World War Swords Tournament! Neener.
Speak, my child. I have yet to grant a third wish, and my impatience is wearing thin.
Porunga's voice rumbled through the fairy ground, its depth shaking the foundations of the planet. Piccolo hadn't seen an eternal dragon since his father had made a wish for eternal youth to Shenron on Earth. This dragon was different altogether, and overall much more impressive.
Porunga! Piccolo began. Is it within your power to make our home safe from being destroyed? Can you force some kind of protective shield or barrier around the planet?
The dragon growled, his voice deeper than thunder.
I do not know, but I will try.
Porunga's red eyes began to glow brightly, as he seemed to be exerting a lot of effort. Piccolo waited, hoping his idea would work. He had been one to suggest to King Kai that the final wish be used to protect Namek. The planet had already sustained heavy damage from the battle between Vegeta and Frieza. I knew that Vegeta would do once Frieza was out of the way. He might leave under a false pretense of peace, and blow up the planet from space. Or, if he decided to battle Goku, who knew what kind of destruction that fight might cause. Overall, it seemed like the only other option would be to abandon the planet entirely and evacuate everyone. Vegeta wasn't about to make the Namekians sever their home, and King Kai agreed this would be the best way.
Your wish has been granted,
Porunga reported with pride.
Now, farewell.
The dragon began to glow white, and then all of his body shot like lightning back into the Dragon Balls. The balls, which glowed and hovered in the air, suddenly lost themselves across the planet, each going off to their own far corner. The dark sky slowly faded back to a calm green.
Well, King Kai, it worked.
Piccolo reported.
Namek is safe.
He smiled, feeling a genuine connection to his home world. Excellent, Piccolo! I just hope the Namekians don't mind. I know that you've never been able to use the Dragon Balls for personal gain, but I'm sure they'll understand us using them to protect their planet. And since it does recently been brought back to life, they'll more likely remain that way if their planet stays intact.
Right, King Kai. I need to hurry back to the ship. If things go awry somehow, I don't want to die and cause us to lose our Dragon Balls again.
Sensing Gohan was also heading back, the Namekian took off, hastily flying towards the Capsule Corps spaceship that was about to take off. The blast caught the two Saiyans only seconds later, sending him tumbling out of control. As he spun out of the air, completely out of energy, Goku wondered what had happened. Was the planet exploding already? It couldn't be. That ball of energy hadn't time to sink to the core. What had caused the blast to detonate on surface? Vegeta pulled himself out of the dirt, his golden aura still pulsating around him. He turned to look back, couldn't believe his eyes. The surface of Namek was completely smooth for as far as he could see, seemingly scraped clean. No discernible crater from the explosion.
What sorcery is this?
He wondered. Turning aside, he saw Goku laying on the side of the dirt, utterly motionless.
No! He thought. I must be the one to defeat Kakarot. He can't be dead!
He took a deep breath. He let his Super Saiyan energy flow through him, strengthening his own bruised muscles. Vegeta frowned and walked slowly towards where Goku lay. When he saw that Goku was still breathing, Vegeta hoisted him by his throat, then drove his fist hard into the gut. Goku coughed blood.
1 year, Kakarot!
Goku's eyes opened slowly. What? Yes, as he gasped for breath, blood trickling out the corner of his mouth. You know, just once, I like to read a fanfic sometimes on these days where somebody remembers the whole Interplay rule! She says,
I agreed to give you 1 year, Kakaroto. In 1 year, I swear I will kill you. Meet me on planet Earth 1 year from today. If you aren't there, I will blow it up and hunt you down. Do you understand me?
Goku nodded slowly, still trying to breathe. I think I'll stop there for right now. Same deal as usual, guys. Fanfic's great. It's a great what if. Able to take what we know of DBZ and mold it, and fuse it, and turn it around. And I love that we now have more canon material for stuff like this to be addressed. We now have plenty more canon material than ever, with things like Dragon Ball Super, the new movies. All of this we can bring in and try to figure out, okay, what would happen if some of these events were to be changed thanks to small little changes here and there. Because that's the thing about DBZ in general, is that since it has such a long continuity and it has such a long established history, it by now has so many places where you can change the world and try to figure out what will happen next. The fact that Masako has its own series of what if tales to expound upon. Hell, the What If series has now even spawned its own audiobook series, which I highly recommend. And Masako comes up with even more of them, of what ifs. As a matter of fact, he even one time referenced this what if. He actually referenced this particular what if, which made it quite interesting to see. So, what do I suspect? Well, just simple. Go, read, and enjoy the story as much as you want. Because after all, that's what fanfics are for. Now there's one down, that's where to go. See ya next time.